So a lot of people ask us about our live setup. So this video is going to cover how we put our cases together for live setup and how we pack them away. Okay. So this is the underside of the case. So this bit goes underneath when it's all set up. These are where the legs go, so they screw into these parts. And then underneath here, we've got like these stoppers on the back. That means that when we turn them upside down, they fit really snugly into place, so we know that they're in the right position. And then we've got just clasps on the outside for transporting them so they stay together. So what I'll do now is get one of them upside down so that I can put the legs on. Okay, so these are IKEA cable legs that we use. And they just screw into these threads here. So there's just 4 of them on each one. It doesn't take that long, especially when there's 2 of you doing it. Okay, so once all the legs are on, then we take these clasps off. And then we can take this side of the case off. Okay, so this is what they look like after a gig. So a bit tangled, but everything is kind of where it needs to be. So we just need to drop down the plugs, plug everything in, tidy it up, and then it's ready to go. Some of these cables patch across, so for clock and MIDI, and some of them drop down between the cases to be plugged into the extension leads. So we just kind of coil these together here so that they all stay relatively tidy. And we can drop them all down together. So audio cables, MIDI, another MIDI, and some powers. Then I can show you what's underneath it.
We'll just open up the top. This is my case, my side. So you can just have a quick look at what's in here. There's quite a lot of space in here actually. So the MPC audio out. This is the audio interface, which is going into the hub sends. So we got the MIDI going in from these two into that, and that's plugged into the Mac that goes on the top through one of these, through that one. So that's the USB-C. From that into the Mac, that goes into the interface along with these two. Then I've got MIDI out of both A and B channels on the MPC Live. MIDI A is split, and one of them goes here into the Neutron, and the other goes over to Becky's side of the table, and MIDI B goes to the Moog. That's pretty checked. I'll put this back on. So we color code these, although sometimes if you're setting up under UV light or something, they don't always work. But so blue, I know, goes in there. The pink one goes in there, and then the audio cables. So this is the MPC audio out, goes across to the mixer. Audio interface, audio out, goes across into those two, and then this one, which is the split of MIDI A from the MPC, goes into that, which is connected to Becky's case. So Becky's getting the input from the MPC MIDI out. Okay, so the laptop goes on the top, USB-C into that, and that's it. That plugs that into the USB hub underneath, which is got those plugged into it.
Let's have a look under my side. Let's take this off. So under here, this is the brains for our visuals, basically. So we're running Resolume so that we can sync all of our visuals with our sound. And to do that, we hide this underneath and then we connect it, which I'll show you in a bit. We connect it with a Mac Mini running what's called YAN Display. It's a really cheap app that just allows us to use the iPad as a display, which is really useful because you can use a mouse or you can use your fingers, which is really helpful when you're quickly trying to do things when it's dark. So under here we've got HDMI, we've got a Thunderbolt going across to here so that these can be properly in sync. And also, which we don't have actually plugged in, we've got a TP-Link router, which helps everything stay on the same network. Okay, so I think that's everything on this side. Yeah, so my MIDI comes from over here into the Digitone, and then out of the Digitone into the Beatstep Pro, and then the clock from the Beatstep goes into Metropolis, and then the Metropolis clock goes across to Jason's Metropolis, running the clock on that side, so everything is kind of in a loop. Okay, so I'll put the lid back on and I'll show you how we connect up the audio and things.
This little bit of magic. There's the TP-Link Wi-Fi router. Now we didn't use this for a while, but it's been really useful for basically keeping the MPC in sync with Ableton, which is running on the MacBook. Before this we were using our phones or trying to get on a Wi-Fi network in a venue. Extremely unstable, phones were dropping all the time. Yeah, and this has been really useful. It's really cheap. I think it was like 20 or 30 quid, we want a lot. But it means we've got a stable network that is only got us on it, and we know that we're going to connect properly when we turn up somewhere. So it's been yeah, it's been a really good little piece of kit to add into the table. Okay, so I've got a couple of connections. I'm going to make sure that the laptop and the MPC are on the same network, and then make sure that by going into the MIDI settings on the Mac, and make sure that I can connect to the other Mac over the cable. And the reason for that is that you'll see when we open Resolume on the other machine that so Ableton here will send MIDI across that network to Resolume and trigger the visuals and alter the visuals as we're playing. So this is kept in sync with Ableton Link. So if I click the link button, I've got a link with this, and I know that they're in sync, and I know that the MIDI that it sends over will be in time with what I'm doing. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. I've got one output from my modular, which goes to the mixer, clip triggering from here, and I usually control like filters and things like that on the MIDIMix. So most of this is used for controlling filters within Ableton, and so all of the MIDI clips that send the MIDI over to Resolume are all triggered from here.
Cable management. Most of this stuff can stay patched, so when we close the cases up, most of the patching is fine, it's okay. Some of the cables, like these longer ones, the outs, and also the stackable cables, they're quite tall, so just in case, we take those out when it's packed away and just label everything, so I know that's clouds out. And also this tape is really good. It glows under UV, but it's really quite fluorescent in the dark, so yeah, we've done it before with normal tape and you just can't read anything, can't see anything. So I've got 3 patches coming across from Jason's modular. So before we go, we just label the things that we need to do. So I know that this is the Metropolis, this one is into my quantizer, and then this one is an envelope for the last track, which goes into Veils. So everything's just labeled so that when we come to setup, it can be as quick as possible. So this is the iPad connected to the Mac Mini. So basically, it's just running a display from the Mac Mini. So it's just acting as the Mac Mini's desktop using this app here. So this is YAM display. So if I open that, it loads up, and then when it finally does its stuff, it shows us whatever the Mac display would be looking at. So in this case, Resolume, because we've already got that open, so I can see, like you would on a PC or a Mac, I can see all of the clips that we're going to be using, and I've got the link button here. So when I link that, if I'm on the right Wi-Fi network, then it should link. If I select the TP link, oh there we go, it's gone onto that one automatically now, which it generally would do when we're out and about, because it's not automatically connecting to our home internet. So straight onto the TP link. Then I can go into my links here. I just press the link button in Resolume, and then I can see that there's 2 links there. So that means that the Mac is synced to the laptop. Everything should be in sync, sound and visuals. That's our basic setup, how we put the cases together, how we connect everything up, how we make sure everything's in sync, all of our sound and all of our visuals. If there's anything that you want to see more of, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Bye!